thank everybody who's here. I would like to thank all the veterans who are here for your service, and more importantly, I would like to thank the families of those veterans, because it is much more difficult on you all to keep life going along as we get deployed and as we do our mission. So thank you very much to the families for your service to this nation as well. I'd like to start today with a symbol, and that is the symbol that many of you have in your hands. It's also the symbol behind me. It's our American flag. And why is that such a symbol of the United States? And why do people think, when they think of the United States and they see the American flag, it doesn't just represent the states. It doesn't just represent us as a people. But I think it represents us as a nation, our values, our core values, our patriotism, our leadership in the world. And why is that different from every other nation? And take that down to the next level. Why is our military different? Or are we? Over my 32 years in the Air Force, I've contemplated this and I thought a lot about it. And what I'd like to do is I suggest that we are different. And I'd like to tell you a story where it really came home to me when I figured out that we as a military and we as a nation are different from many others in the world. And this is when I was stationed in Iraq. And I was commander of the 32nd Air Expeditionary Wing, and we had a base population of 30,000 people, and I was also the installation commander. So I was also overseeing the hospital that was there. And one night, we had a military medevac flight come in, and for some reason, this one seemed just a little bit different, but I didn't know why. And if you're not familiar with Joint Base Balad, when the helicopters come in, they land right next to the hospital, they bring the casualties in on stretchers. There's a mobile stretcher brigade that are volunteers from the base that all come out, unload the helicopters. They bring the casualties under a big, large American flag. I want to say it's about 30 by 50 feet. And it was encased above them in a canvas tent. And that was called Heroes Highway. And as the casualties would come in, they'd immediately be triaged. You'd see the doctors and nurses running around trying to figure out who was the most critical. They'd bring them into the emergency room. They'd take them from there and do what treatment they could there, and then run them straight to a CT scan so they could find out where the shrapnel was, where bullets were, anything like that, and hush them straight into surgery. Well, this night, the call went out that they needed to execute the mobile blood bank, which essentially means that the hospital was in desperate need for blood, and that volunteers from across the base would come over to the hospital as they were able and donate blood. And as I walked into the hospital that evening, I saw people lined up 3 and 4 deep, giving blood. It was absolutely amazing. Now, I will tell you that's not the amazing part about this story. As you dig deeper into the story and you find out why the soldiers were there, I learned of a sergeant by the name of Sergeant Baum, an Army soldier who was leading a patrol in somewhere just a little bit north of Baghdad. And there was an Iraqi insurgent, a sniper, that took shots on his group and shot Sergeant Baum, and shot him pretty critically. Well, the rest of his troop got together, they found the insurgent, they grabbed the insurgent, and the insurgent got wounded as well. But the amazing thing that comes out of this story is that Sergeant Baum died and the Iraqi insurgent lived. And the reason being is because Sergeant Baum, when he trained his unit, he trained them and said, you will treat everybody equally with respect to medical care. I don't care if they're Iraqi insurgent, or if they're an allied soldier with us, or if they're a U.S. soldier. And I think that story speaks to why we are different. They treated that Iraqi insurgent who had just shot the leader of their unit the same way they would have treated Sergeant Baum. And both Sergeant Baum and that Iraqi insurgent came into our hospital. Both of them received blood, and unfortunately Sergeant Baum died from the result of his injuries, but the Iraqi insurgent lived. And I would tell you that's why, in my heart, I feel that we as a nation and we as a military are different from many other nations that are out there. Yes, we have people that make mistakes. We have people that try as hard as they can and they get swayed. But by and large, I think our military servicemen and women, represented here today by you all as veterans and represented as well by the many men and women who are deployed around the nation, around the world, uphold those standards and our core values of us as a nation and which is symbolized in this flag behind me. And so what I would like to ask is that the veterans who are here, you don't talk very much about your service. I would like you to share those stories. I would like to share those stories of unity. I would like you to share those stories that make us different from everybody else. Share them with your family. Share them with your friends. Share them with the people in your community and the people around you. Because in today's world, as divided as it is, and as difficult as times are, those stories will help unify us all together as a nation. Unity is what keeps us strong. It's what keeps our military strong, and it's what keeps our nation strong. Thank you very much for having me today. It has been an honor for me to serve. It's been an honor for me to be here today with all of you in my home now in Leelanau County. Thank you very, very much.